So I watched the movie this morning and absolutely enjoyed it. It was so fun to watch, right?
Yay.
Yeah, so I'll kick off by asking my first question. I mean, obviously, Doc Connor Webtective has become such a beloved series. So, for folks who, especially my readers who are not familiar with Dot's world or even the series, and perhaps their introduction to her will be this film, can you briefly tell us where did the idea for Dot come from, and what do you think makes her story resonate so much with
Hmm.
families?
Yeah, so Jay is this way too, but I grew up as a fan of mystery stories and detective stories and spy movies and all that kind of stuff. Jay had Nancy Drew, I had Hardy Boys, kind of thing. And
We don't have to stop there. Bobbsey
yeah,
twins, Encyclopedia
Encyclopedia Brown.
Brown. Oh, I love
Yeah, yeah.
that.
So just always love those kind of stories and those kind of characters and stuff. But really the challenge, or not challenge, but the interest for me was creating a character that kids could relate to, modern kids in particular could relate to, who are very online, who are very engaged with technology, filming themselves. Um, and so it's taking that kind of world, that modern world that kids are living in, kind of shoving in, this old school mystery story kind of fun entertainment that we enjoyed growing up. But then the purpose behind all of that was really also to try to engage kids with this idea that it's okay to be inquisitive and it's okay to ask questions, and especially encourage kids to ask questions about the Bible and ask questions about God, because we believe, and this has just been a part of us as parents and us as church volunteers and all that, is that the you can't exhaust those questions and that there are a lot of answers. And so that's kind of how Dot Connor was birthed, was, hey, kids have questions. It's okay for them to have questions. Let's give them a way to kind of answer some of those questions, but make it fun, make it
Yeah,
entertaining.
yeah.
And so,
And along those lines, but when you are looking for those questions, how to do it safely. And
yeah,
so we actually have tips, and even in the movie, we talk about web safety, and we also talk about like go and talk to an adult, talk to an expert, make sure like check your sources. And so I think we do a good job of instilling like how to safely search the internet
yeah,
and find the answers that you need.
yeah.
At the core of this series, this character is about family and hope, right?
Mhm.
It's about relationships, friends, faith, et cetera, et cetera. So how do those things come to the forefront in the movie, and
Yeah.
why are they so important to you as storytellers?
Well, one of the biggest things for us, and we just believe that so our company is Huff Media Productions. It's how we have worked on a lot of different projects over the years. And our tagline for our company is to tell exciting stories with eternal truths. And I tell you that because we believe there are certain truths that are eternal, that go beyond us, that are just true, regardless of where you are, who you are, or where you live, or anything like that. And so a lot of those truths are kind of basic things. And so for us, I mean, it seems kind of funny to me to say this feels countercultural right now, but just having a mom and a dad who are in a healthy marriage relationship, who have a child, who are raising that child well, felt like such a thing to go, hey, that's good. That's something that should be celebrated. And it's not even that we point it out necessarily, like, hey, check it out. It's just more they just have a good relationship, and they're a family and they love each other and they're for each other. That was super important to us because we believe that those things are the things that actually resonate with people. And they resonate because God has put those things in us in the way that He has designed the world. And so doing things like that, or subtly calling out the fact that, like, sort of you can't trust certain things, like discernment, saying, hey, it's important to discern. And then for us, I mean, with the movie in particular, we also think it's just people should laugh and enjoy each
Yeah,
other and have
yeah.
joy. And so including those things in the movie where families are enjoying each other and friends are enjoying each other and laughing and stuff
Yeah.
like that, we just think is super valuable, to communicate and to show through stories.
Yeah, I just don't know if it's like the storytellers these days in this whatever year we find ourselves in. But like, it feels like their worldview is so hopeless. You called it
Mm,
nihilistic at one point, and it's like they're so hopeless, and they're so uh, uh distorted that they actually can't write a story from an eternal worldview, that we are the ones who can do that because we know the eternal truth. And I think also in that, like, we also think back to movies that we grew up on, where the mom and a dad had a healthy relationship, that the dad wasn't some kind of like buffoon to be made fun of, which it just tears my heart out when I see like that, being like, hey, look at this American family, like that dad, what a joke. And it like tears down that family structure. And I just think back to who is actually trying to tear down our family structure. It is the enemy. And so we are trying to combat that by putting in a good example of what a mom and dad and family is, and what good friends do for each other. And even, I love it, and I know that you saw the movie, the moments with the grandma. Like, grandmothers are so important. And I feel
mm.
like we have, like, again, we're trying to tear them apart from the fabric of the American family and write them out of the narrative. And I'm like, they are so important in our narrative. Like, and so I'm so glad we have these moments, these beautiful moments with a granddaughter and a grandmother.
Who
And
can support each other and encourage each other and have
yeah,
fun together.
yeah. And
Yeah.
that was it. Not just like a good family structure movie, but a movie that's just fun and entertaining. I bet a lot of times when you see a faith-based film, you're like, okay, let's settle in, And this one, hopefully, you laughed within the first couple minutes, Like, we want it to be fun. We want it to be adventurous. We want to entertain the kids and the parents
Yeah.
alike.
The series is making this big screen leap into a full-length movie, right, for fans. So, what was the biggest challenge or surprise about bringing Dot's world to the big screen?
That's a great question because I think most people would. There are the challenges of, just the technical side of making a movie. I mean, there's a lot of details to cover. Jay kind of likens it to being a party planner, right?
Yeah.
Like to put on a good party, you got to handle all the details,
Yeah.
who's coming, and
Yeah.
you
And this
know,
isn't just like a 5-person birthday. This is going to be a 100-person birthday. So
right? Yeah,
like, how do
yeah.
you, so it's one of those, like, it just increases in size. And so you just do everything times five.
And but I would say while that's difficult, I think the hardest thing for us, and it was hard, but also in some ways for Jay and I, because of the type of people we are, kind of energizing, and that is really, I'm going to say it this way, and then I'll explain what I mean. Sort of the lack of support of what we were doing, and lack of support meaning not that we didn't find people that came alongside us and supported us, and we have. That's how we've gotten to this place. But more than that, it's the inability, or not inability, but almost, I would say this, sort of the cynicism or the frustration that a lot of folks feel about the state of culture is sometimes hard to be like, hey, it's okay. We know things aren't great, but we can do something really cool, and there's hope here. I think it's that dark veil that's kind of over things that's really tough to combat against. To say no, we can actually do this, and it's going to be hard, but we know people want it. We know there's this desire for it, and so really just casting that vision, and not necessarily, not that we expected everybody to get on board with that vision, but more so that, like, we want more people to capture that vision too, so that maybe they go and do something else that even is beyond what we're
Yeah.
capable of doing, to continue to bring wholesome, biblically based quality family entertainment, because we just as a family love watching movies. And so we want to go. We want more
Yeah.
people to do it.
Yeah, I think people are just so used to not watching movies or not going to the theater
Yeah.
anymore, because it's just like, oh, here goes another summer where we couldn't trust all the movie, like a movie to go take our kids to. Like,
Yeah.
there's usually like one. And it's like, I remember back in my day, like, we had lots of choices and movies that we could go to. And so I'm just so glad we have this opportunity. And I mean, again, it took us 2 years to get to this place. And so to make one movie to release on one week, like we are forging the path ahead for other independent faith-based filmmakers, and we want to share what we've learned with them so that they can go make more movies for Andy and I to go and enjoy in the theater. And so we're not trying to guard the secrets like some people do. Like we want to empower everybody to go and make more content. Because how are we going to change culture if culture continues to take in their own nihilistic values, like we talked about in the beginning?
Yeah.
They're just going to keep You're just going to keep getting the same movies, and so you're going to have to start changing the narrative of the movies, and we're going to need more of it to change culture in the direction that we're going right now.
So with this movie taking Dot to exciting new places, do you see more films or adventures ahead for Dot Connor?
Yeah, well, we definitely are working on some different ways that may not be films, whether it's books or additional products, games, apps, stuff like that, where the character can live on. We would love to do more, whether that's .con or other movies for families. And so much of that is dependent on families supporting this first movie, right? Because we're new. This is our first movie that we're independently distributing. And so the more families that support that, the more we possibly can bring
Yeah.
either a .con or two or maybe another
Yeah.
story to life.
I'd like to say we have a lot of creative ideas, so this isn't the only one.
Yeah.
But yeah, it also just Geely and Ethan, they're in college now. Not to spoil like how old they are. So it's, trying to align schedules and careers. It's, we'll see what doors God opens,
Yeah.
but we're here for wherever he takes us.
So Dot's story is streaming on so many platforms and now obviously heading to theaters. How does
Yeah.
it feel to see this character connecting with families all over the country and even around the world?
Mm.
I think the way to kind of sort of condense it is we know that kids are smart and kids are curious and kids can get to know the Lord.
Hmm.
And for us to see kids respond to the film in a way where they go, "Hey, thank you for making a movie that was actually for me," is the thing that brings us the most joy.
Hmm.
And when we screen this movie, and parents, we love parents. We love parents bringing their kids. Obviously, they got to bring their kids, but we almost say, parents, sit down. We want to hear from the kids. Like,
Yeah.
did you like it? Did you have fun? And
Yeah.
so to hear them not only say, hey, I really thought it was funny and I really enjoyed it, but to then for the kids to be excited to see their values reflected and us treat them like they're smart and can, solve a mystery and ask questions. That's been so cool to see the kids
Yeah.
respond that way. Because why we did it and what we've been aiming for.
Yeah.
Right on.